Okay, so we're here at the San Antonio Regional with our friend.
Ben.
There you go. What are you playing, man?
I'm playing Shiranui's. It's the Omega build, and it's just mainly used to get Omega a lot, abuse its effect with Mizuki.
Yeah.
And so I'll start off with the monsters. So I have one Zombie Master, and he's used so you can discard a zombie, special one from grave. He's really good if you have a Una zombie in grave. You can ditch like say you have a or a Mizuki in hand, you can ditch Mizuki, special Una zombie.
Go
use
from
Una
there.
Zombie's effects. And then I run one Plague Spreader. He's really good because you can use you can synchro with him, and then if you don't have Mizuki in grave, you can always just place one card from your hand to the top of the deck. Sync for a level 8.
Nice.
And then I have Inferno. It's a really old card, but I use it in here because
Oh, you special summon, right?
Spirit Master. If you have Spirit Master in grave, you can use his effect, banish Spirit Master to special summon him, and then you get Spirit Master's effect to pop a card on the field.
Excellent.
And so then I run one Pyramid Turtle. It's pretty obvious why. If you run two, it starts getting cloggy, so I just use one. And then I run two
Nice.
Samurais. His effect is really good when you pair it with Spirit Master again. It's all about that's the main MST of the deck is Spirit Master.
Isn't this like a cloggy card or?
It can be cloggy at times if you draw both of them. I'm thinking about running just one, but two seems to be all right at the time. And
Nice.
you can banish a zombie type monster, get him up to 24, and after damage calculation, your opponent's monster is banished. And then I run two Spectral Swords. Kind of the same thing with Plague Spreader. You can synchro with it on the field, and then you can Mizuki, get it back, get a level 8. But what I do is when I synchro with him and I know I have a Mizuki in grave, I'll go for Samurai Saga, and then I'll banish Mizuki, get him back on the field, sync for something else, and then these two are in grave, and the next turn you can synchro from grave for Shogun Saga. So it's a free level 8 the next turn that you use it.
Excellent.
And then I run 3 Goblin Zombies. Their effect is ridiculous when paired with Una Zombie. So you can use Una Zombie, send Mizuki to grave. That's the main engine. And then you special Goblin Zombie with Mizuki, and then you sync for 8. And then you can use Goblin Zombie's effect just to search another Una Zombie out. So you always have one in hand.
Excellent.
And then with 3 Una Zombies.
That's like the main engine, right? Like.
It's the main thing. So its first effect is you can ditch one zombie type monster from your hand to grave, increase either person's one monster on the field, increase its level by 1, and that's really useful if you have Mizuki in hand. And then he has a second effect. You can send a monster from your deck to grave, so you can actually use both of his effects. You can increase your opponent's monster level by 1 because you want him to be a level 4, not a 5. So you have one in hand, you send it to grave, and then you can use the second effect, search through your deck, and then send a second one. So then now you have 2 Mizukis in grave.
Nice.
And that's pretty much it. The only downside is that if you use the send from deck one, only zombie type monsters can attack that turn, but they're all zombies.
Excellent.
And then the main powerhouse is Mizuki.
Spamming all the way, right?
Yeah, his effect isn't limited, so you can just banish him from grave as many times as you want. So you can abuse Omega and Burial from a different dimension, and really just...
That's how you bring it back, right?
Yeah. And then the 3 Spirit Masters, these are the MSTs, and its second effect is that if you normal it, you can special summon a Spirit Master from your hand or grave. So it's either an instant level 6 synchro or an overlay for level 4.
Excellent.
And then onto the traps, I run 3 Swallow Slashes. This is basically an Icarus attack on steroids. You pop a zombie type monster, any zombie, which is every monster in this deck, and then you get to pop 2 cards on the field. And then when that effect resolves, then you can banish Spirit Master, and then you get a 3rd pop on the field. But if you really wanted to, if you have Spirit Master in grave or Spectre Sword in grave, you can banish Samurai and use Samurai's second effect to add them back to your hand. And then I run 2 Storming Mirror Forces.
And why is that?
It's because this deck kind of has a slow start, so if you're able to get one of these first turn, it keeps your opponent from OTKing and stuff like that. And it's to keep your zombies safe.
Yeah, and it's good against Cosmo and Burning Abyss, right?
If you run regular Mirror Force with Cosmos, they can just banish and get more monsters out. This sends them back to hand and stops their plays. And it keeps it sends back monsters that can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, stuff like that. And then the staples, I run 1 Bottomless, 1 Blackhorn, 1 Solemn, and then for additional like anti-summoning, I have a Void Trap, and then a Compulse.
Excellent.
And then onto the spells. I don't run any. I just run single spells in here. I have a Foolish, a Book of Life. That's pretty good because then you can target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard and banish it to special summon a zombie from your grave. And so there's no downside. You get 2 pluses, and it's good with Infernoids and Cosmos and stuff like that. 1 Gold Sarcophagus. This is really good once again when paired with Spirit Master because you could just banish Spirit Master from your deck and get that pop. So this turned into an MST, and then you get it back to hand.
And later a monster, right?
Yeah. And then Book of Moon, MST. Different Dimension. This one you discard from your hand to special summon a banished monster. When you synchro with the with Spectral Sword or Mizuki, you can banish special Mizuki and then synchro with it, and this goes to grave. So you just removed it from the banish pile. And
Excellent.
then it's also helpful if you have a Mizuki in hand, so then you can discard that.
Like either you pitch Mitsuki and get the other Mitsuki back, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then a good card to side for Monarchs is Zombie World, and because only zombie type monsters can be tributed. And then with Mizuki, it's really overpowered because with your extra deck, say you get out Omega, you can banish Mizuki, special Omega on the field. And then Chicken Game to basically run a 39 card deck. Burial from a Different Dimension, Raigeki, Dark Hole, and Call of the Mummy. Call of the Mummy, if you control no monsters, you can special summon a zombie type monster.
I have to ask that, has this been like useful or?
It's been very useful. I would run, if it wasn't so cloggy, I would run more than 1, but at first turn you can get an Una Zombie and something else and just sync for an 8 right away.
Nice, and you from here, for San Antonio?
Yes.
Nice.
And, onto the extra deck?
Yeah.
I usually just play around. I usually just play around here in San Antonio. I don't really go anywhere else. So.
Like you basically live here, right?
yeah. And so then I have 1 Castel, 1 101, and 1 Cowboy, just the staple rank 4s. And then I have Shiranui's Samurai Saga, and his first effect is during either player's turn, target a banished card, shuffle it back into your deck. It's target a banished monster. Shuffle it back to deck, and on your opponent's side of the field, switch to monsters with less attack than that to defense, but it's mostly useful just to recycle Mizuki's back into your deck.
Excellent.
And if this card is banished, target 1 card your opponent controls and permanently reduce its attack by 500. And then Doomkaiser Dragon, you can make it with Plague Splitter, but a really cool thing about it is that since Spectral Sword's effect is specifically special summon a zombie with level 6 on the field, from the extra deck onto the field, you can totally ignore the summoning synchro conditions and just special summon Doomkaiser from your extra deck using the banishing effect of Spectral Sword.
Wow. That's something new, you know.
Yeah, and its effect is if you have Zombie World on the field, target any card in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it on your side of the field. And then Goyo Guardian, regular level 6s. And then for 7s, I have Black Rose, and then Yang Zing just to be like an MST. And then level 8s, I have Beals. It's really good. It can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, and any battle damage you take with it, he gains an attack.
It's good against Cosmo, right?
Yeah, because they have to either use Cosmojo or just try and get it off the board by banishing it or returning it back to hand. And then another card against Cosmo is Crimson Blader. And then another level 8 is the Shogun Saga that I showed you earlier. His effect, when he's summoned, target 1 zombie type monster in your grave and then banish him, and he permanently gains that attack. And then once again, with the Spectral Sword's effect, banish spectral sword, pop a card on the field, and he's at 45 permanent.
45. Wow.
And then if you banish Samurai Saga, your opponent's monster loses 500, and he's at 55. And then let's see. And then onto the rank 8. Omega, 2 of them. And then Void Ogre. If you have no cards in your hand, negate a spell or trap once per turn.
How often do you go to this?
Mostly, I would go into them if I don't have a hand and I'm scared of their back row, and I just want to go in for a 3k attack without having to worry about any battle traps or anything.
Excellent.
And then Spark Dragon to protect Omega and Void Ogre. And then if I'm really having trouble with their back row and they just have 5 in their back row, I get another Una Zombie out, and then I can synchro with one of my level 8s and get Star Eater out. And it's unaffected when it's summoned, and then when you attack it's unaffected. So it's like a free 32 directly.
Yeah.
If you're able to.
Such a brutal card right there, right?
Yeah. And then for my last card, I have Hope Harbinger Dragon. When I can overlay any of my two rank 8 or level 8s, and then once per turn, negate a spell card or an effect. So if your opponent summons a monster, activates their effect, you can detach, negate it, and then attach it as a material.
How often do you go to that?
If I'm not able to, so let's say I'm playing Infernoids and then they don't have any cards out on the field and I don't want them to play Reasoning or something like that, I'll overlay for that and then they'll activate Reasoning and then I can just negate it with Hope Harbinger.
Nice.
And that's if they already got rid of Void Ogre. And then
yeah, it attaches it right as a material.
And then his other effects are that if your opponent attacks, you can detach one and then make him the targeted for attack. And then his last effect, if this card is destroyed, you can target one of your XYZ monsters and it gains its attack. So it basically gains 3k.
Excellent. So any other comments about the build?
For my side, there's not really too much you can do for the side deck.
Yeah, I know, right? Like everything's about like monarchs and
yeah, and you can't really side too much without hurting yourself. So then I just run Battle Fader, Chaos Trap Hole, Special Hurricane, discard 1 card, again Mizuki, to destroy all special summon monsters on your opponent's side of the field, Mirror Force, Reckless. Discard 1 card, destroy all special summon monsters on the field. Monsters cannot be special summoned as long as he's face up on the field. DD Crow, Shiranui style synthesis. Discard 1 card. If you control no monsters, target one of your banished cards, return it to the graveyard.
You don't bane that, right?
No, because it's kind of slow because you have to control no monsters, and the whole point of this build is to have monsters.
Spam out.
And then another Cowboy, if I'm really having trouble actually doing damage to them, if they have too much defense, so I can do, like 16 or something. And then Protector with Sanctuary, can't draw, another Zombie World, another Zombie Master. And then these are pretty good against decks that require their deck. So
you basically like deck out monarchs, right?
Yeah.
In a way.
With this card, if you have it on the field, every time a zombie type monster is special summoned, mill the top 2 cards of their deck. And you could, if you don't have Zombie World on the field, you can basically make them mill about 16 to 20 cards just on your single turn. And then if you have Zombie World on the field, then your opponent's monsters count as well. So whenever they special summon, they mill too. And its second effect is that if you control another zombie type monster, this card cannot be targeted for attack.
So if you have both of them,
then either one could be attacked. So you have to either send them back to hand or like Mirror Force or something. And then last one is Shiranui Smith. I don't main him in the Shiranui build because
I saw that. Why?
It's just kind of slow. Like if you synchro with him, you can add a Shiranui card from your deck to hand. But there's just Swallow Slash. So there's no other spells or traps named him. And then if he's banished, your zombie type monsters can't be destroyed by battle. But your zombie type monsters is so big that you shouldn't have a problem with that. And he's just kind of slow. So if you really need popping power, I guess I'd add him. But it's just there to complete the build, basically.
Right. So. Any last words related to, for example, the event?
Um, if you wanna battle nothing but monarchs and cosmos, come to San Antonio.
Nice.
Not a lot of variety.
Excellent. Thanks, man.
No